What's up, YouTube? Lighting's good here today, bro. What's going on? I'm gonna we'll run through a few tools real quick. I'm gonna show you how to, transferring from, let's say you need to transfer, we're gonna cover two topics today. One of them is to give you a little bit of insight for the next video. I was working on it. That's the reason I'm a little late. It'll be out very, very soon, but it's a little insight into that and a little better explanation on like a flex point when you're trying to fall something through stuff like obstructions. So I'll talk about that towards the end, because that's just something I can sit around and talk with you guys about and read comments. But before that, I'm going to show you how to, transferring is something that gets done a lot more nowadays. Was something that was pretty rare back in the day, but nowadays it happens kind of often. You may be in one tree and you want to transfer to a completely different one, and you don't want to have to climb all the way down and climb all the way back up. You can do that, or you could set a guideline and travel the guideline, or you could just set another climbing system over there and get it back. Now, if you're by yourself, or you don't have somebody to run you and clip the rope on and do all that stuff, there's ways to do it. So I'm just going to kind of show you how to. I have a setup here. Took me a little bit to get it together, but how to, if you're, let's say I'm 20 foot away from the tree let's say 30 foot from the tree that I want to get to. I throw my throw ball over there. It goes over a good fork. Now what do? I'm going to show you how to get it back, and it's just by adding one single, very, very cheap, simple tool, and anybody can do this. So let me see who's here, and then I'll show you what I got set up, and we'll get going. What's up, Billy? John, how you doing, buddy? Ground Pounder's here? Cool. BTS is here? Cool. All right, right on. Yeah, so first we'll start, here, I'll show you this death trap I have going on over here. All right. Ugh. Keep turning. I had to make a limb, so look at this ridiculousness. I had to take all the Christmas lights down today, so it took me forever. So I didn't have a lot of time to brainstorm for this. So I needed to make a limb. This is a limb, okay? Use your imagination. And Jeffrey, what's up, buddy? Abe's here. James, what's going on? Oh, Chate Leaning, 910. How you doing? What's up, fellow arborist? Turning in from North Carolina. Cool. Right on. Well, welcome. Cool. Yeah, we're just gonna try a few things out today. I'll show a couple tricks with the throw ball, and then that'll be the main part of it. And then we're gonna talk about flex points, trying to rip a tree, get a tree to pass through obstruction. So this is what I came up with. This is gonna play as the limb, and I'll be over here. I'm gonna try to set the camera up as best as possible so we can see this whole thing. But work with me. If you have any questions, or the angle doesn't work, we're live right now. You can tell me, I'll fix it. So I'm gonna do my best to give you good angles for it, but it's gonna be a little tricky. So this is my secondary climbing, all my stuff that I don't use very much, mainly just stuff that just rarely gets used. So let me, I guess I'll do it like this. So in this bag, it's nothing special. It's like my old climbing saddle. So for when it's nasty and rainy. But the main thing I'm looking for in this bag, which I know it's in here, I can show you guys how to make a fixed base anchor. I'll show you next time. We'll do a trick on that. to where you have the fastest base anchor set up to where you can just clip right into it. But man, I have so much throw ball string. I didn't realize I have this new spool of it. I have a new spool over there, a new throw ball, a couple new ones. Okay, well, I'm not finding what I was expecting to be in there. But let's look a little harder. Hopefully it's in one of these other pockets. I think it may be. I hope so. It's got to be in one of these. It's like this little pouch. Ah. There's my actual retrieval ball, though. Alright, it's got to be in this pouch or I'm goofed. Ah, cool. Right here. So, in this little pouch, is the secret tool to make all this happen. So, and that secret tool, originally, I'll show you what it was originally, because I think it was, let's see how much it cost. I don't know, maybe I spent $3 or $4, but this is what I bought. These are big treble hooks. I don't know, you can probably see the size, but so it's a big fishing hook, basically. There it is. So what I did is I clipped these little prongs off because you don't want those grabbing your rope and stuff. But this is the secret to getting your line back. Now check this out. So, and I am rusty, so let's hope this goes smooth. I haven't done this in a long time, but I thought, well, this is something I haven't seen people talk about, so I don't want to do the same stuff that other people are doing. Here's the one I came up with. If you notice, the prongs are much smaller. They're not so deep, and I clipped the tips off, and I actually cocked them sideways so that they grab a little better. So you see they go to a slant. They all curve, and that makes it so it can catch the line a little easier. But if you notice, the prongs are off the tips, and the other little inside prongs also gone. So now I'm going to show you the whole setup. All you need, like always, is just a throw ball and some throw ball string. This is my other setup. Oh, I'm gonna be mad if that's like halfway done. I bought like a carpenter string, and I just took the string off and then put throw ball string onto the spool. But these things are pretty cool. I've broke it a bunch of times, so that one I'm not going to use. You want a decent, that's like the lightest throw ball I think I have. So I don't want to use that one. I think I got like a 14 ounce in here. Yeah. Or no, that's a 10 ounce. It'll work though. So, you have throw ball string. You have throw ball. Also, I want to show you, and I don't know why, but like I see arborists that are so far into this, it blows my mind. They still tie their throw ball on every time. And I'm like, wow, there's so much time that can be saved. And then when you go to hook it to the rope, there's time that can be saved. And that's just the way my brain works. I'm always looking for the easiest, like most efficient way to do everything. So, this is how I do throw balls. I just tie a loop in the end. I literally just take the rope, double it, and tie a loop. Now the trick with the loop is that you want it to be big enough around that the throw ball can pass through it, okay? Now as long as the throw ball can pass through it, now you can, let me untie that one off there because I don't need to. I will in a minute though. So now, watch out. I don't have to sit here and tie this on every single time. I have a loop on the end. I take the loop, pinch it towards short. I take it, I pass it. I take it, put it into the ring. So now that it goes, oh shoot, off camera. I'm in the ring, and then I just go over the top of it. And you're cinched up with a girth hitch. That's not going to come off. And then you just reversed that whole setup to take it off. You pull the loop, pass it over, pull it out. That's it. You're not tying knots 50 times a day. You're taking a loop, you're passing it, going into the ring, over the top of the throw ball. It's incredibly easy. It doesn't get any easier. You will get tricked a couple times when you go to take it off. You may push it the wrong way. But that happens. Everybody does that. It happens to me all the time. So, now, we're set. Throw ball string. I'm trying to think of where the best angle for you guys is actually going to be. So, let's see if we can go. All right, let's put you guys over here. Oh shoot, it's gonna be tricky. I can turn that a little. Oh, there we go. There we go. We're in there like swimwear now. All right, so there's some like specific things to this. Now, the distance of the throw, you need at least that much distance for the ball to be able to drop. So that's why I put this so high up in the air, because we're trying to basically replicate being up in the tree at height. So let's say this is 20 foot to that. It needs to be able, the ball, after I throw it, okay, I throw it here, I'm over. You guys see that? There it is. So I'm over the limb. Now, stop shaking so much. It's just aggravating me. Okay, so I've thrown it. Now it's over the limb. I'm way over here. We're 20 foot away. Now the ball needs to be able to drop all the way down. So here's usually what I do is I do like a tester. And I will take and I will tie a loop here where I'm at, like just a little loop. And I'll see if the ball touches the ground first, you can't do it. You need more height. So as long as my loop makes it to the thing, before the ball hits the ground, it's still dropping, still dropping, still dropping. So I need to, it's going to work. So normally you're going to be way up in a tree. You're going to have plenty of room for the ball to drop. That's not something you have to worry about. When you're replicating it inside on the ground, that's where the trick comes. So now I'm here, the throw ball's way over there, and I need to get it back. Let me actually move it a little closer, like here in front of you guys. So it's way over there, and I need to get this thing back. The trick, now, normally you wouldn't be able to walk over the camera and talk, but I'm going to anyway. So I'm going to take this, I have this. Now, here's the trick. I'm here and I'm going to attach this treble hook to the rope. It's going to make its way over as I lower it, and it's going to swing under and grab the rope, and then I'm going to pull it back to myself. Okay? That's the whole point of this. So, you got your ball, it's all the way up, you just threw it over, and you know, okay? Here's the other little tip that you need. You're going to tie a loop in your throw ball string to connect your treble hook. The loop needs to be, you need to guesstimate how big around this limb is. So this limb, the loop needs to be big enough to go under half of it and be able to grab this. So you want like an oversized loop, and I'll show you what it looks like here when you actually tie it. See how big this loop's going to be? I just dropped my hook, but and if it's a little more oversized, I think you're better to have it a little extra oversized as opposed to undersized. If this loop is too small, it's not going to swing under and grab and pull back, okay? So, the loop that I end up with, about like that. So if I was to take that, put that next to it, it's a little more big around than the actual limb, so I know I'm good, okay? So I'm going to connect it, and then I'll put everything back and show you guys how we was going to do that. So I have the loop. It's tied into it. Treble. So same thing with the throw ball. I'm going to take the loop, pinch it skinny, put it through the hole right there, and then over the top of the whole thing. And I'll show you what this looks like after you get this set up. So after you're all set up, there's what it looks like. This thing will be traveling at the throw ball, and I'll show you. We put the throw ball back where it was at. Now watch this treble hook. It's going to make its way to you. It's there. It's all the way to it. And actually I already hooked the line. So normally it may take you a couple shots, but you throw the throw ball over, you guesstimate your things, you tie your loop, connect your hook, and as your hook's going to it, if it gets there, and let's say you don't get it that first hook, what you do is kind of lift the ball back up and then let it kind of swing into it fast, like, and it can whip under and grab. Okay, did you see that? Did it get that in the camera? I think it did. Let's do it one more time. I'll move it even closer so you can see how this actually works. All right, so here's the hook. Throw ball's there. Now, hang on, I just put it on underneath the bark. All right, so here we go. Put our hook on. Now it's going to travel there. Reach under. Come on. Almost. Now, the way I got my hooks, like the, you know how I showed you I bent the hooks? That'll tell you what side you kind of want to attack it from. The way I bent mine, I want to attack it from the right side, and it hooks better. The left side, it almost misses it every time. So depending on where you put those, maybe you should alternate them so it would get one way, one will get the other. I mean, I don't know. But it went under, it looped under, it hooked. Now watch, I'll pull the throw ball back to me. And I got the throw ball now. So what I would do is disconnect. First I'll disconnect my hook. Take it off. Then I'll take my loop out that I put in it. Actually, let me put the thing down. And then after I have, you know, the loop out, then I could take the tail of my rope and make it fixed and just travel it. Or I could set me a completely different, you know, climbing system and do it that way. I kind of, if I'm doing like a big transfer and I'm needing to get up to the top, I may just set like a skyline and like use the tail of my rope to pass over and fix it and then travel that rope. So, okay, I got my stuff here. Now if I was going to connect a rope now, I would keep a hold of this end, clip it into my saddle. This end I would tie a rope to. I would pull it back, like to you guys, get it back to me. I'd have a rope fix now. I can anchor it off. I can travel that rope and then pass it back to myself. You can do it SRT, you can do it DRT, or you could just set another climbing system and rappel from one system to the other system. That thing probably cost $8. Like for the whole package. I got like 5 more of them. So a simple oversized like treble hook can be a godsend to get that back. I'm sure there's many other reasons why you would want that. Like let's say you want to, and when you throw your throw ball up over and you can't just get around a single limb and you just want to fix to one limb. If you have that, you could go up and reach around and grab it and be able to pull it and fix to one limb as opposed to 3 or 4. But that's my trick. That's how it works. Now I'm going to see if you guys have any questions, if I messed up showing you. And, I don't know then. What else we do? Oh, we have 18 people here? Wow. Right on. So, how'd that work for everybody? I'm going to look here and try to catch up on some comments. Yeah, that I said death trap ground pounder because it is. That pole. Oh my god. I'm gonna show you guys what's holding this whole thing. This is funny. So this whole thing is being held by this chair right here, and it's got like that pole is just like not cut right, and it's like got my axe wedged under it to keep it straight. This one is just like balanced over on where my saw's at over there, and I put a little bracket. The bracket's the only thing holding it. If you see right there, there's a bracket that keeps these two together, and then my chairs are holding it from tipping. So yeah, not the nicest setup, but yeah, it is what it is. If you don't like the treble hook is the most effective in my opinion. But I have seen there are some other ways to do it. Like I've used one of these before to do it. Doesn't work as good. I've used like the end of a bungee. Some of those, that S with the hook, it works, but nothing works near as good as that treble hook. It's so effective, catches so perfectly. So, what's up, JC? Michigan, it's illegal to use a large process that large of a treble hook. Really? I bought it at Walmart, man. What's up, Bridge Burner? The welder in the background. Yeah. I used to wind up in the tree for a drop cord for my throw line. Right on. Oh, you used the wind up wheel on a drop cord. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, those are pretty neat. Those are good, especially for the climber to have. That just seems to probably save a lot of headache. I feel like I got a kick in the last video yesterday. Kind of feel like I got a kick in with the last video yesterday. No. Okay. The video I'm doing, ground pounder. Which job's harder? Tree climbing or logging? Falling timber or climbing trees? Falling trees whole as opposed to piecing them out and rigging them down. Which one is more dangerous? I don't care if it's working at a gas station. If a person doesn't know their limits, that's now the world's most dangerous job. I think the reason they can't really rate the world's most dangerous jobs is because 90% of the time, on a day-to-day basis, it changes because it depends on the person who's being sent out to do that job. And if that person doesn't know their limits and doesn't trust their gut and doesn't have good instincts, they can really hurt somebody or hurt themselves. So, dude, I think you made the smartest decision, and like mad respect to be able to do that. Yeah, throwing from the tree can be hard. It can be a bit of a headache. That's the worst part. Like, I end up taking and putting my throw ball string in big loops like this. What I'll do is I'll like take it and tie like I would my rope, and I'll put big loops like this and get them all wadded up, and then I lay them on the limb right in front of me. Then I get ready and I throw. That seems like the only way to keep from getting tangled for me, but yeah, it can be very tricky to throw from the tree because you become good at throwing upward, and to throw almost horizontal, it's tricky sometimes. I've yet to play with the big shot or the ball recommendations. Um, when it comes to throw balls, I would I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. Notch. These notch ones are amazing. This little cross hatching stuff makes it so I can find it. I have another one right here. I think they make pretty much every size. This is, I straight up have to just thank Jared Sprague, or Nigget is what he goes by on here. But he sent me these. And these are the best throw balls. They're so tough. I've had a billion throw balls hit the concrete or hit the ground and burst. This kind is a forestry one. That's what usually ends up having to happen after you, as soon as you buy it. This was brand new, so ended up having to duct tape it and do that because it burst like the first time it hit. Weaver makes some pretty good ones. I use those. Those are the ones I use in my APTA. So and ground pounder, if you're having any trouble like setting up the trigger and all that with the big shot, let me know. I may do a video on it, like step by step how it gets built, like what you like, where you have to set up, and like how mine is exactly set up, because it's very simple, but it may look complicated, but it's really really simple. All branches the tree has to hang up. Yeah, I use a 16 ounce mostly. Wow. Yeah, I use a 16 ounce when I get into something that I feel like it's gonna snag a lot, like shagbark or like a rough bark tree. But for the most part, that 10 ounce, I use an 8 ounce a lot of times. I think that's what this is. This is a Weaver one here, and I had it for a very long time. I have another brand new one like this. That's an 8 ounce. That's the one that fits in my air gun the best, and it's really nice on throwing. But yeah, Weaver's pretty tough. I've not messed up one of the Notch ones, and I don't know, but Notch may actually replace it if it busts too. So good bridge. 16. I have the big shot also. Never used it. Really? Yeah, you get pretty good at throwing a throw ball after a while. So I mean, I can understand having one and not using it. I had mine. It was took up so much space. It got aggravating, and then I don't know. I just seen that it didn't take much to make an air gun. It was like 20 something dollars I spent, and I made an air gun and was able to shoot my throw ball up into the tree. Now, if the gun required me to have to buy like CO2 cartridges every time, I wouldn't have changed. That's free. That's free to use it every single time. I don't care how bad of a shot I am that day. It's not gonna cost me any money. Now, I've seen ones where you gotta like use a 22 shell and all kinds of silly shit. So like, I don't know. That's why with my air gun, it had to be air. Like I want a bike pump to be able to do it or a compressor, and I want to shoot it with strictly air. If I have to go buy hairspray, I'm not doing that. I'm not making a potato gun. It has to be able to cost me no money every time I use it. So because there's no sense in switching because this is free. So if I switch to something else, it also better cost zero to use. So that's my whole thought process, like when I made it and have, why I use it. So, but I have 14, 12, 10, and 8. I use the big shot on every job practically. You can get pretty good with just using it normal without a trigger. Some guys are really good at that. I hate the like shakiness of it and like I got to where I could hit like a perfect target with this thing. It got really really nice, but nothing compares to the air gun and how dialed in you can get with it after you start figuring out the pounds to how many feet. So this depends on how damn far you want to launch it. Yeah, do by hand or by air cannon. Air cannon is sick. I find heavier bag is better usually. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I found that middle one is best for me because my throw is more controlled. But I'm throwing, so you know maybe it's different. I don't know. But it depends on the person, what you get used to. You get used to throwing one heavier, you're just going to be on with that one. So I totally get it though. Holy smokes, there's 15 thumbs up already. But if it's high, really high, then you can go light. I just don't mind granny style. I used to use a homemade gun, but didn't like all the work to use it. Yeah, I can understand that. I never got to the technique where I see guys do the rock thing, where they make the triangle with their fingers and they do it between their legs. Never done that. Like, I tried that one time and I threw it over a high voltage line, and like I instantly just like I was like done with it. I'm never gonna do it again. I launched it backwards behind me. I think it was stupid. I don't know. So I just throw it like, here's my whole setup. I throw like this. Okay, that's how I hold it. Pinched with my thumb and my first finger, and this finger, I don't know why, but it needs to be part of it. It's like, and then when I go to throw, I let that finger off. I let it slide off of it, and it gets like it rockets the line up. I know it seems silly. I don't know why. I thought about this one day. I'm like, why does my finger got to be part of it? Why can't I just go like this? But like having that finger on there and that like flex point, I don't know. It's just something I do. It's the way I've always done it, and I rarely use my air gun because I'm pretty good with throwing it. I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I do all right. As long as there's not too many small branches to get caught up. Yeah, that's where I didn't want to deal with the air. I use a handheld battery powered air compressor pretty quick actually. I bought one. I got one up there. Actually I don't even know where it's at now. It's somewhere here. But it was like I bought it. It's this little compressor. It looks like a gun. It was so perfect. It was gonna be the ticket, and it messed up on me. And like, so I was over it. I just got a bike pump that's got an air gauge on it. Because the other thing I didn't like is when I used the pump, I'd pump it up and then I'd have to use an air gauge to check how much air was in there. Or you can mount a gauge on yours if you want to, which would have probably been a good idea. But I just bought a little, like, I don't even use a regular, but I use the lazy one where you put your foot on it and you step on it. I use one of them pumps and it's got a gauge on it. And I messed with the chamber size to the point that I got it so like 10 pounds of air gives me 10 feet of shot. So like it's dialed in. If I had my truck on site, I could charge off my... Yeah, that'd be cool. UTS. This Ryobi with digital pressure gauge didn't cost much and has been a good product. That's awesome. Yeah, I think the one... I can't even remember the one that... Where is it at? It should be like sitting here somewhere. Like Hedgehog or something is what mine was. Where the hell did it go? I probably threw it away. I probably got mad one day. Threw a hissy fit and threw it in the trash. I don't know where it went though. It was around here somewhere. I think it was called a Hedgehog. I know that sounds weird, but I think that's what it was called. There it is. Oh, I thought I had it all figured out, guys. I was like, I got it. Like, I hate having to use a bike pump too. I didn't like pumping it. And I would blow bike pumps out because they're usually not high pressured. So I would actually blow the pumps out if I bought a cheap like bike pump. But it was all in a package. I was like, oh, I got this. And check out this thing. All right. Watch this be something else. Hopefully it's not. Okay, yeah. Oh, dang it, I was wrong. It's the Air Dragon. What do you guys know about that? The old Air Dragon, eh? Dragon Air. I actually can hook it up to my car, like lighter. So I could probably still use this thing. Let's see if it works. I don't know, it don't work. It's trash. But yeah, it's got an electric cord too and everything. But yeah, I like worked one time. It's got a digital air gauge on the back, and then I could just hook it up with this and hit the little trigger, leave it there, and then watch the air gauge go up and then stop it. I can actually set it to what I want, and it will stop at it. So this thing, I thought, I got it. This is going to be great. I got it all figured out. It's got a battery in there that you can charge up. And yeah, I thought, man, I got her figured out. This is going to be sweet. I got this thing all set up, and it's going to work so perfect. And I'm going to have all the air. Like, I'm going to have all the air. And then when I want to use it, and I needed it, I felt like a complete freaking knucklehead because the damn thing didn't work. I'm like bragging on it. I'm like, you guys got to see this thing. Wait on, you got to see it. Like, it's so awesome. And I like brought it out. I brought my fancy little case out, and I'm like, yeah, check this out. And this is what I used to have to use, was an air gauge every time after I put air into it. But yeah, bike pump, and preferably one of the ones you step on with your foot with an air gauge or with a gauge on it, is the easiest one I've used, is the quickest one I've used, and I think it may be no, definitely not the cheapest one, because I bought some really cheap bike pumps and just blew them out instantly. So that's definitely, you can buy a crappy bike pump and it can go out really quick, because you need quite a bit of air in those. And I don't think bike pumps are meant to go to like 60 psi and stuff usually. So I don't know. We got almost as many thumbs up as people. That's crazy. Let's see. Bridge Burner says I had a backpack blower by then. It was awesome. Oh, right on. That's a cool setup. Am I really far? Hang on. Oh my god, I'm so far behind. Okay, I'm reading comments from days ago, it looks like. Holy smokes. Guys, I'm gonna jump. I'm sorry. If you said anything, please say it again. I was so far behind on comments, and I'm like, why is it not making sense? Sorry. What's up, Jared? I remember the commercial for the Air Dragon years ago. Does it work as advertised? Um, did it advertise it as working? Because mine worked for like 5 minutes, and you know what? Let's see if it works. I've got nothing else to do. It says it's supposed to work off electric too. So if I take this stupid thing, where's the stupid plug for this stupid thing? Okay. Yeah, check it out. It's got like other air tips and stuff in there to like air stuff up. I thought this thing was going to be the coolest thing ever, and it really bummed me out. So if I take it and I run it like that, and I just run the actual cord here. Let's see if it works. See if this damn thing will work for us. Just plug it up. Oh, I don't know if I got any more plugins left over here. I do over here though. Hang on. Oh, we're plugged up now. Shoot, now you can't see me. Ah. Okay, I got her now. She's plugged up. See what it does. It's so ridiculous. Why didn't you just work, you stupid thing? Got an on-off switch I don't know about. That's locked. That's unlocked. Huh. So it says it's charging over there. Why wouldn't it just let me hey, it just lit up. Check it out. It did light up. And it does have a light too, which is pretty cool. But yeah, pretty dumb at the same time. Okay. There's a mile of fanatic sure did, and my stomach dropped as the lifeline did to the ground. I stay on a wire cord flip. It's a love-hate relationship with it. Right here, Wilkes. I hate wire core. It's been damp here all day. Yeah, it's been nasty here too. Just like the Rope Runner Pro. I just like. All right, so it lit up. So we got like some action there. Let's see if it turns up or something. It just like completely shorts out. I don't understand it. It's trash. I hate that thing. And now the light will stay on. It better shut off. Let's see if it shuts off. Okay, at least the light shut off this time. The bad part was, like, I'd be driving down the road and that damn thing would be going off in the background, like in my back seat. And I was so over. I was like ready to throw it out the damn door one day. So it's lucky to still be here. I was inside the biggest tire plant in the United States all day, so I missed it. I would also do two different things. Cool. Completely different. Keep it charged. I like multiple lines, but I dislike using side D-rings if I can avoid them. The BB that was hit it with a hammer. What's up, Dan? How you doing, buddy? All right. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight on the next video. Should be out tomorrow at the latest. So you're trying to fall a tree, and as it's falling, the main thing is you have another tree here, another tree here. You got this little tight space you need to go through, and things are gonna brush. Things are gonna get stuck. It's a tight squeeze. There's a chance of it getting hung. All right. So there are some things you can do to give yourself a better success rate, to make sure that it's for sure going to swipe through and get through those things. And the biggest thing is going to be like, it depending on when the contact is going to be made with the other obstructions, whatever it is, trees, as it comes over. Now, if it was way back here, let's say it's way back here, okay, and the other tree's right here, and it has time to fall all the way to this point before it ever touches it, gravity's doing its work. As long as you don't have the notch closed up then, and it can move, and momentum has started to take place and gravity took over, it's usually going to pass through. Now the tricky part is when you get close and you're in these areas like this, and you're trying to pass it by, and it gets to this 45-degree point. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but you can hold up something pretty damn heavy as long as one end's touching the ground. You're only holding it at a 45-degree angle. Now, as you start to go any more than that, it becomes heavy, and the less the angle is, the heavier it is. And that's because gravity's basically taking over. So, I don't want to get too far behind on comments, but okay, right on. So you're trying to pass it through, and it's gonna make contact at too early of a point. Now, as long as the contact, like I said, the contact's being made after it's over that, I would say, let's say to be safe, contact is made. If this is 45, I would say, let's say 60. As long as it's after about 60 degrees from the notch, it gets 60 degrees, I would say you're good. Gravity's going to do its thing. Things are going to break. Things are going to slide through. All those things are going to kind of work in your advantage, as opposed to it making contact anywhere from its original standing point to 45, because that's where things usually get hung up. If you notice, when guys get trees hung up, they're usually at about a 45-degree angle, and it's because the tree didn't create any momentum before it started to go over, and it was easy to stop the progress and stop it in its place, because gravity's not really doing its thing yet. Gravity's actually helping you to make it light by pushing down, forcing everything downward. So it's able, you can hold something crazy heavy, hold it up as long as it's at that 45 or less. As long as you're in that area, you're good. So as the tree's coming over and you know you're going to make contact really soon, the only thing you can really do, if you're trying to get it to pass through, you want a very wide open notch. And that's because when the tree closes and finally closes, it needs to then pull fiber out of the stump, pull wood. That's a bunch of friction. That's a bunch of stopping of momentum. Things are being stopped and held up right there. So if you put a notch and it started to hold and it closed right here before it got here, you're having a lot of friction and stopping that normally if with a bigger notch, you got to give it time to get over. So opening up the notch so that it can commit all the way over on its turn, as opposed to only making it to about right here, and then the notch is closed, and now it's got to pull fiber and then fall over. So a wide open notch will help it pass through. But the biggest thing is the flex point. Now, where's the bend going to happen at? If I was to take like this tree, and I was to go down here and I was to put a notch real far down. Now, the tree is now flexing from this point, and it's going over, and it gets held up. How can I make that better? I can make that better with a higher stump. Now, if I bring the stump way up here, now the tree's flexing at this point, and it's actually going to get way more over center before it touches than the same tree will with a low stump. So low stump, it's going to travel. Okay, let's do it a little bigger like this. Okay, here's low stump. It's traveling, and here's the tree. It goes over, boom. Now, high stump, same thing, goes over. Look how much more it was committed. Because of the stump being up high, it gave you that much more falling distance of commitment before it makes contact. So the contact point is a major thing. Like, at what point does the contact get made? You can increase your chances by lifting that notch up high and giving a higher flex point and bend point and allowing it to be much more committed and over center before it makes contact. I hope that makes sense. I've tried to think of the simplest way to explain this. I just don't know if it's a simple concept, but yeah, that's you're gonna see that in this video. And I even ask, like, which one's better here, low notch, high notch, and then I answer it, and then I answer why. But I'm also gonna answer in the video my opinion, and I basically gave it here on which job's more dangerous too. It's basically gonna boil down to, I'm a tree climber. I climb trees. If I'm forced to fall trees all day, I now feel like I'm doing a more dangerous job. Now you take a logger and put him to climbing trees and rigging them out over a house, he's now doing the more dangerous job. Because knowledge cancels out danger, and experience nullifies like risk and hazard, and like those things can't be, you can't graft them things. So like the point of, and like topic of trying to decide which one's more dangerous, you can only, I mean, maybe you can get to an actual answer, but it's for that day. It is for that day, because the scenario, the situation, the task, it changes every day, and sometimes the person changes who's doing it. So like one guy doing falling a tree, a logger falling a tree, is going to feel so secure. He's doing his thing. A tree guy coming over and falling trees, he's gonna feel pretty good at it because he's got a lot of practice falling the logs and stuff like that at the end, and he's gonna be pretty. He can be pretty damn good. But you're not as good as the logger. You're not. Um, and a logger is not going to be as good of a tree climber as a real into it tree climber. That's just what it is. Staying in your lane sometimes and knowing that is like a big advantage. You can get so much done, and like I just feel like most don't have that. They just feel like, well, I fall trees. I'm a logger. There's a lot of other things that go with logging that I don't include like in the video. I'm only going to talk about the falling and dismantling of trees. A logger falls them whole. A tree climber pieces them out. What's the more dangerous? And in my opinion, I think tree climbing is more of a repetitive risk every single time, where that same tree can be fell all at once, and in one fail swoop, it's done. Trying to think of something I could compare it to. Like tree climbing is like javelin, or like tree falling is like javelin. You get one throw, and where that thing sticks, that's it. You don't get to go to it and throw it again. Like for the second down, that's just kind of the way that works. It's a one-time thing. Where it goes is where it goes. What happens is what happens. There is no, well, I could change it up. Like with tree climbing, you can do a little piece. You could rig it. You could do so many things that could change it. You could do it in a billion pieces. You could do it in a couple pieces. Like it would be more like golf, because you take that first one, that big huge piece, and you're like, whoa, that was too much. So then you're chipping it from there, and you're doing smaller pieces because you know what it could take. You overdid it, or maybe it goes in reverse. So I don't. It depends on the person. I don't care what anybody says. It's the person doing the job. It's not the actual job that is more like dangerous. I don't know that you can actually make a fair comparison, because the only way to do it would be you go find the best logger walking the face of the earth, and you just set him down, ask him every question you can, stay with him daily. You go take the same tree guy who climbs trees, and you do the same thing with him, and then compare the two. Because I feel like a lot of times this job gets, like, let's say crab fishing, the most dangerous job in the world. Maybe I don't know anything about it. I know it looks dangerous, hell, it looks scary. It wouldn't be my thing, but they don't have to. The crab fishermen, their statistics stay very high because they're not taking every fisherman that's out in the water and putting it in with crab fishermen. When it comes to doing statistics for this, they are going crab fishermen. Now, when it comes to tree climbing and tree work, landscapers get lumped in. Those guys who just can't refuse, like, trying to get another dollar out of somebody, and they do a job that they shouldn't be doing, and they'll push, and even though they don't know tree work, they'll do tree work because they were doing landscaping, but they got a chainsaw, and like, I think like the risk and dangers and things nowadays is rarely looked at or acknowledged. I think it's, yeah, I got a chainsaw, I know how to use it, I can cut trees. When you didn't say that back in the day, because what would happen is an old head would throw spikes down at your feet and a rope until you get your ass up the tree. Then go make me $1. Okay, and you just strap them. Nowadays you can set you couldn't talk like that because you have to talk to somebody's face. Nowadays I could sit here and tell you that I am the world's greatest mechanic, and no one turns a wrench like me. They never can, they never will, and it is what it is. I'm the world's greatest mechanic. Ask me how many cars I've fixed. too. But like I fixed them really fast. And ask me how long my career's been. 6 months. But like I'm really smart and I pick up on things really fast. So I think that's the world we live in now. So it's just different. It's different, man. I like how you guys do your thing here with the comments. That way I don't have to feel bad when I miss some of them. The other thing, you know what? We're gonna talk on. Oh, whoa, no, August. Thank you, man. Wow, wow. Yeah, thank you. Holy smokes, man. Dang. You threw me for a loop there. Yeah, I just think, yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, dang, man, thank you. That is wild. I appreciate it. I really do. I'll make sure it goes back into the channel. We'll do something. That's crazy to me. Thank you. But hey, guys. Also, I don't know. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but Jeff's also started his channel, Schroeder, and he's always in the comments and hanging out with the channel too. So, um, here's something I kind of wanted to talk about, and that's when it comes to spiking trees when they're not coming down, and like I'm not trying. Dang it, I don't. No, hang on. I'll ask it this way: is it a regional thing? Answer me this: is it a regional thing to climb with spikes other places, and it's just okay? Like certain areas, it's okay to use spikes because it's a regional. Like it's just that area specifically says that you can use spikes. And I know when most guys do this, they're usually down at the base of the tree. They're at the trunk. They're showing you this big, rough, thick bark that's at the trunk. But then they climb to the top where the bark is very thin and becomes very, very small. I'm I am understanding that it is safer to do and more accepted to do with certain trees. But I think what a lot of it has to August is guys. I see they'll do it with no spikes if that's what it calls for, and I feel like it becomes a regional thing that is okay because it's so freaking hard. It is so difficult to do, and so everybody has an excuse for why it's okay for them to do it. You know, I'm guilty of that myself. I feel like it's okay for you to be able to use spikes on a large lead that you're removing. Just that lead. Um, but it comes down to the person, and like you could also end up spiking other things in the tree while you're moving around or doing your thing or setting up. So you have to be very careful and make sure you don't do that. So like it comes down to you 100%. But is it okay certain places? Like, is it just like I live in the wrong state and it's just not okay to do in Missouri? Or is it that it's hard as hell and it's like sometimes it's just not worth it? And I wish that's what people would say. Like, this person doesn't want to pay to have it properly done, or it's too hard to do it the exact way, so I'm going to do it this way. Everyone always has a quick like excuse for like why it's okay for that time when they want to do it, and like it's just as easy you could just not record that or just not show it. But like this misinformation that just gets kind of spatted out there's a lot of knowledge I can see like involved with it, but a little bit of like misinformation when someone says like it's okay because we do that here. And I don't think that's really the case. Um, but I don't live there, so I don't know. I may be 100% wrong. So like somebody may need to catch me on that one. Like check me. I may be 100% wrong. On here, make a resume. There it is. I'd hire a guy quickly that had a YouTube versus some guy that did. Yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah, that is probably a good thing for like a guy who's looking for work. If he wanted to show that he knew his stuff, that's a resume. That's about as good as it gets. But at the same time, you're you're also you're watching yourself, you're recording yourself. It's almost a bit of insurance in case you was to be accused. Like you have those customers to where you're just like, oh, I don't know. I worry that they're gonna try to pull a quick one on me. So you record everything. You make sure that this dent was here, this was this, this was this, and you document everything with video. And sometimes your camera could do you harm. Maybe it records you making a major mistake. Um, I think I get more why a newer guy wouldn't show that kind of stuff, but usually if you're just like, I'm not trying to impress nobody. Man, I'm almost 40 years old. I'll be 39 here in a couple days. I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm amazed that there's this crew of just individuals and people and climbers and stuff that are on YouTube that like to get together and hang out and do this. Like this blows my mind. But I'm definitely not here. I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel. You know, I'm definitely like I'm always looking for my lane in this tree, like when it comes to tree work and YouTube. Like I'm looking for my lane, but I don't know what my lane is. Like I really don't. I don't want to just repeatedly make the same stuff that the next guy makes. Um, but I also don't want to say like, here's how you do this, here's how you do this, here's how you do this. There's guys that do that. Like I spend enough time I feel like looking for my lane when it comes to YouTube that now I just don't care and I'm using it as a place for me to like get my creative flow out when it comes to making videos and maybe conversate with just some good people, just in general. So, like, I think that's how I just continue to look at it and just I stick to that. So, how about putting bull rope and blocks on trees and pulling them over where other companies work them down? That's what I specialize in, and one good pull and cut get paid. Hey, some guys are really good at that. Some guys are so good. And, like I was telling you guys that, like, climbing trees is a special occupation. I'm just going to be straight up. I don't know if falling timber is the same, but I imagine it probably is. It's not something that, like, you're going to crack off and, like, be your best after not doing it for a long time. I wouldn't think. Um, Tree climbing, the same thing as I stayed in a lift for a while. I was half the climber that when I started using that lift. I was half that climber. I feel like when I had to go back to climbing, like I just had this weird fear in my gut that was like, where did this come from? I remember this when I was like 18 years old or 16 maybe, and I remember being scared and feeling like I don't know if I can do this, and like I remember all those things, but like I'm in my 30s now. I shouldn't be feeling this. Like I've done this forever. It's like, but if you don't do it, you lose it. So Yeah, thanks again, August. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, Jeff's new video was awesome, wasn't it? What's funny is I seen August like on the top of my phone. It came across who is this guy or something. Yeah, I think it was who is this guy, and it was that was a video. Like I hadn't had a chance to watch it yet, but I knew it was a new August video, so I was sweet. I'll watch that when I get time. Um, and then when I go to get on YouTube, the first thing that pops up says Jeff Schroeder's first video, and like, man, the Matrix has got me figured out. They know me good. They like just recommend what they know I'm gonna like. So like instantly I'm like, what? Oh, it came out today? Like, holy smokes. Like, yeah. And I go to subscribe and I'm like, how does he have this many subscribers when he started his channel today? I'm like, what? What in the world? And then I then realized that August had, you know, did did what a friend does and just gave a helping hand to start out, because that's a very smart dude that has a lot of knowledge, and I'm sure August sees things of himself in Jeff because I can kind of see with the two, just the way they kind of work things. But Jeff's a good dude, like just downright a good guy, and he's just he's the type of guy that's never gonna. I don't feel like he's ever gonna ask for anything. He's kind of like me. I'll rot in a ditch when I should ask for a helping hand. But that's just me. That's my personality. Like I've kind of always been. I was a poor kid growing up. Like I didn't want people to know that. So you don't ask people for like stuff because then you come off like the poor kid. And I'm like, I'm already the poor kid. I don't want everybody to look at me like, oh God, the annoying poor kid who's always asking for stuff. So yeah, that's just me. That's just and I feel like Jeff is that same guy. I'm not saying like childhood wise we lived anything near the same life, but like he just seems like he's okay with earning it the hard way, and I respect the hell out of that. Love the safety orange saddle. That thing was super nice, wasn't it, Jared? It was so nice. Can I upgrade my Monkey Beaver saddle to 2.0 if you yeah, there you go. There you got. I mean, he's here. Been on the OG saddle for 2 seasons now, and I love it. Yeah, I think I'm due for. I'm gonna have to make the. It's gonna have to happen. I'm gonna have to get me one. I just. I hate changing saddles. I love my old saddle. It's still so comfortable and so nice and like. Still incredibly safe and bulk. Like I don't feel like it needs to be switched out, but I think I should. Like I should probably upgrade. I wasted 1,000 on my tree Rex. Oh, really? But I wasted 1,000 on the Eldritch spikes to go to the. Dang! I don't trim, so yeah. Trimming and rigging over obstacles is my favorite thing to do. Yeah, I think it's a character trait, Rich Burner. It really is. There's okay, and nowadays we are gonna. This is why I feel like we group up so quick, so easy. In today's world, everyone, okay, when you used to stand in the gas station line and wait to pay for your gas, and you're sitting there, and you may be looking around, and you may talk to somebody, or you may read something on the wall. You don't do that anymore. Or you may think about things you got going on. That was problem solving time that as humans we used to have. We used to sit around when we didn't have anything going on and weren't like taking on a task, and we had time to think. We could problem solve. We could think about things that we needed to do. And nowadays we're just on the phone. Just I know all this is kind of hypocritical because we're all on our phones right now. But like take time away from it because like I think that's what makes us such a tight little group. We all I think respect the problem solving aspect of it. That's my favorite thing when it comes to tree work. I love the problem solving aspect. Nothing excites me more than when a tree company is doing a tree. Holy crap, we have 20 thumbs and 20 people. Um, yeah, that blew my mind. I forgot what I was doing. And then August's donations like huge up there, and it almost makes my cheeks red. I'm embarrassed, but thank you so much. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, nothing excites me more than when I get to go do another tree company's tree. Like somebody who has the means to do it, the knowledge to do it, but they're like, nope, there's this, and I can't do it. Is it possible? Oh, I love that. That's my stuff, man. It's nothing excites me more than being able to solve a problem and like show your expertise. You spend a long time doing this. Most customers and people you do tree work for, they're gonna expect you to get in there, take care of that massive, enormous tree that's growing right through the middle of their house. Don't touch their stuff. Don't get their stuff dirty. Don't scratch their stuff. Don't ding their stuff. And get the tree out of there. And they'll say, "Are you gonna take the stump down any further?" I mean, yeah, I can. So you go cut the stump down. Are you guys gonna need to clean that sawdust up? Yeah, sure. At no point are they acknowledging because they have to to give you funds. So they have to pay you. Um, but paying you totally counters and like negates all that hard work you did. No longer is anybody like, hey, that was incredible. Well, I can't say no longer. There are still these people out there that are appreciative and they give it to you, but it's rare. It's just I don't think people respect it, and it's like you need to do your job. Just do your job. You know, your job ain't that hard. You start a chainsaw and you cut stuff. I would love to cut stuff all day. So it's like, depends on who you're talking to. I don't have a use for an old harness. It's hard meant for example. The vid I just made. How many dudes gonna put that out there? Dude, I'm telling you, it's like that just shows a lot about you, ground pounder, is that you're completely secure with what you do, with you and what you do. Some people can be mature or secure with who they are, but lie about what they do because they're not secure about the way they handle themselves and how what they do, like how they get things done. Um, like you're gonna have subcontractors out there that are gonna go tell a customer like I'm going to take care of this tree. I'm going to do this and this and this, and they're not going to do nothing. They know a guy who they're going to hire. They're going to give this guy a pinch of the money. He's going to do all the hard work. They're going to roll back in there, say, write me this big fat check, and tell me how great I am because I took care of it. So like the fact that you can look at something and be able to show enough restraint that it's just not for me. It's not for me. Saying no is the smartest thing you can do sometimes. There's no reason. And like, this is why I can't understand anybody who gets into tree work and just goes like totally for it and starts cutting throats and like taking on jobs they shouldn't be doing. You can ruin someone's life. You can ruin your own life. Like most jobs, when you go to the, let's say I'm trying to think of an easy one. Let's say you work at Walmart and like, or let's say McDonald's. You go to McDonald's, you're gonna go work, you're gonna do your job that day, and unless some rare catastrophic failure for something happens, you're gonna be good. Now, you go do tree work for a day. That day, you could ruin your life, depending on who you are on on the crew, and you can ruin someone else's life. Ruining my life's bad enough. And like, I have to realize if I ruin my life, I'm ruining multiple lives down the line, and like that's scary. So, knowing your limits is the greatest thing in the world in this line of work, and not not making the dumb, arrogant mistake that most men are gonna make. That which just there's no sense in it. Um, it just there's too much involved. If you smash someone's house, unless you have the greatest you know insurance, they're not gonna come out ahead in that thing. Like they may get their stuff paid for, but they're gonna be out of home for this period of time. All these bad things are gonna happen. Like I've heard horror stories where people. I worked for a guy one time, and he says my neighbor just had, and I'm not even gonna name the company. They're literally working right down the road right now, and they're supposed to be out of business and should have been shut down. He said he went out of business and filed for bankruptcy because his chipper got loose and almost killed a lady. And then one of his workers almost died. And they smashed a few houses. And I believe there was drugs involved heavily. So the decision making was wrong. But I was working for a guy. I was pruning. Um, it's actually a soft maple tree. It broke in an ice storm and got all dangled, demolished. And so I ended up pruning it way down. He was okay with it dying. We just pruned it way down and gave it just a replenished cuts to where it would just maybe grow again. We'll see. So I think it's called rejuvenation pruning. But we butchered it basically. And then it grew back and I cleaned it up. And then now, after so many years of doing it, we're basically pollarding the tree. It has these big knots at the end and everything grows out of the knots on each stem now. But I was trimming his tree and it looks so crazy when it gets done, but they were working. He said they were working next door. They showed up. They showed up with all their machinery. They brought in a bucket truck. They brought in a chipper, a pull behind lift, a box truck, another big flatbed with a dingo on it and a stump grinder, and they just had this little dead pole to take down. I don't know why they brought all the stuff in. They blocked the whole road, had everything billions. I don't. It had the whole place covered up with machinery. They step out of the truck. He said the two guys in the truck were arguing for a while as they were getting out of the truck. Then one hopped out. The other two were in the other two vehicles. They never even got out of their vehicle. They walked up to the tree. He put a notch in the tree, cut it, and he hollered and went and started pushing on the tree. And all of a sudden it fell sideways and went into the house. Now it smashed the side of the house and broke the the edge, there's not a whole the fascia there. It broke all the fascia off in the gutter and stuff like that, and it hit the house pretty hard. The homeowner come outside, yo, what happened? What are you guys doing? What'd you do? And he's like, it just turned, man. It was deader than I thought. It was deader than I thought, is what he said. And he's like, oh, I mean, it's okay. Now, remember what I said. All this machinery, all these trucks. He says, but it's okay, guys. That's why you carry insurance, right? I'm the homeowner right now. That's why you carry insurance, right? Big fancy equipment, all this stuff. You don't know what the answer back was? I never said I had insurance. I didn't. No, we don't. I don't have insurance. The guy says, what? He says, I don't know. Call the can you call, you may want to call my boss. And by the time they went inside to go call, they all got in the vehicles and left. They still work around these towns. They now have faded, where the trucks would say the name. It's faded off now. But yeah, it can you can really ruin somebody's stuff. These people actually got lucky and they knew the insurance adjuster and he lied, which is crazy for me to be talking about because that's insurance fraud. That's stupid. And lied and said that it was hail damage that happened to their house. They got it fixed for free. So lucky for them people. I guess they ended up getting their tree down and then got their house fixed, Didn't cost them anything. Probably paid deductible, which is what they probably would have paid for the tree work. So all in all, they came out okay. But all the stress and hardship of dealing with all them problems, you don't ever come out even. So, now I'm sure anybody who does tree work, you've had billions of people, well, not billions, but a lot of people that will try to get you to make insurance, like they want you to do insurance fraud for them. I've had so many, I have people that just blatantly will call me and say, I want you to come write me a big, huge estimate. Money's no option. And I'm like, cool, okay. Because I've had people tell me this before. I have people that are just I have such a good relationship with. They will straight tell me, do it. Tell me how much afterwards. So that just boils down to treating people right, and not using your one opportunity to try to gouge somebody and get them for everything you can get them for. That's a scummy human being. And I've in my life, karma has been the thing that keeps me the way I am. I feel like anytime I do something wrong, karma will get me and I will suffer for it. So I just try to do people the way I would like to be done. And I just try to respect people as much as I can. So like you can goof up real bad in that situation. So I don't know. It is what it is. Just a different kind of human out there anymore. So that's why so much value for me goes into this kind of group time that we have. Because it's like I'm guaranteed to have. How long have we been here? Holy smokes, you guys have listened to me ramble for almost an hour and a half. Yeah, for an hour and a half with like-minded people, good conversation, and like it's just. I think most people like I can respect a guy who works in a tire shop or what, like anybody who earns their money like penny by penny and like has to go through it will make you appreciate everything a lot. So I feel like that's where you get tree guys that are always willing to help because you know how hard the struggle was along the way, how hard the job is, and like I remember the stuff that I had to go through and like the lessons I had to learn. And I'm like, dang man, it would be nice if you just didn't have to learn that lesson. So that's where this channel comes in. And that's where I'm always just trying to do my best to share a little bit of knowledge, but I'm not trying to give how-to videos or anything. Like I just want to share what I do and like share why I do it. And the channel definitely hasn't like blown up. It's got always had its steady build. I took a lot of time off and like stayed away from it here recently, and that's my fault. Like the channel kind of stopped growing for a while, but I'm trying to stay back into it as best I can. Chris P, what's going on? Wish I could stick around. Greetings from Queen Charlotte. Oh man, right on. Jeff will have a new video out today. Oh, sweet. 21 thumbs. I forgot. Oh, you're awesome, man. So who's coming to Michigan? I got a job for y'all, and I'll pay you well. How far is Michigan? Most guys edit too much out. Yeah, maybe bridge burner. I don't know. If I'm being honest, I'm not the biggest fan of a raw video. Like, it's just gonna be from person to person. You know. I watch my videos. I think, I think, I think a lot of the raw videos. If this is the way I feel about it, if your raw video, some people are just characters, man. Some people just have a personality, and they got a workflow that's just like entertaining and just You could do a raw video on them any day and it comes out great. I feel like if you're going to do your video and I don't want, I feel like a lot of guys throw a video out and like they put it together and they maybe even put transitions between the clips, or they just did one full clip. But did you sit there and watch it? Like, that's what I wonder sometimes. Like, because the way my channel works and the way I do my content, like, I watch every video for you guys see it. I watch it so many times it just gets disgusting. Like, I don't even want to see. I hate my voice. I hate looking at myself. But I watch a video so many times and like I'll catch myself in different moods and like I'll watch it and be like, why'd I say that? I'll delete. Take that off. Next time I'll watch it before I upload it, I need to put something there. So I watch it so many times and like if a section retaining someone's attention span today is so hard. And I almost wish I didn't have the analytics to show me about all that stuff, but it's there and I see it. And retaining people's attention span is the hardest thing when it comes to YouTube. They'll click on your video, but will they continue to watch it? And that's the problem. Like, I've done the raw videos. It gets like, on average, a person will watch like 2 or 3 minutes and they're done. But at the same time, 91% of my views come from non-subscribers. So our live feeds are probably, for the most part, subscribers. But I know you're watching. Like, if you're not subscribed and you watch my stuff all the time, it shows. Like, I know. You can pretend, but like, what? There's where, hey, ground pounder, there you go. There's where the insecurities come in. I refuse to push subscribe because I don't want this other tree climber to know that I maybe learned something from him or that I enjoy his content, or I don't know, I don't get it. Like, it's a thing of respect as far as I'm concerned. Some of you guys, I subscribed before I ever watched a video because I know you. Like, I like you. So like, I subscribed right from the get-go. I'll go through channels and like I'll subscribe and I'll watch it for a long time. Maybe long term it's not my style or something and I may click off. I'm usually pretty lenient when it comes to watching tree work though. Tree work is tree work. I kind of like every bit of it. But if we're being honest, I don't know if every other occupation is this over saturated, but I've never, and it's got to be because that's just what YouTube shows me. There's 7 billion tree YouTube channels, like of tree guys. There's 7 billion of them. I swear there is, because I can't even keep up with stuff. Like, I used to want to do like tree industry news, and like just throughout the week keep up with what's been going on and make topics, and then talk about them on the weekly live feed here. And I wanted to do that for the longest time, but like, I don't even know if I can keep up with all of it. So I don't know. Oh man. I think it's a character trait as well. It shapes how you're going to work. That's why all your different styles. Yep, 100%. I never planned to do the climbing I do. I wanted to spike up pines and nothing else. And that kind of stuff changes. there are guys that I've seen that did removals their whole career, and then they got into spikeless pruning, and now that's their thing. They do full removals spikeless, which makes no sense to me personally, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense in general. So, like, I feel like I asked a bunch of questions here during this live, and then I had to skip over so many comments that I never got the answers. But, like, I feel like I should really do that, like, news thing, like, weekly. Just try to keep up with what I can, and maybe shout out a few channels that are putting out good content, and maybe keep up with Dripline, see if there's any accidents, um, and then just scroll YouTube. Try to keep up with as best I can. Companies that got ah. Yeah, I was looking at it there, ground pounder, when you showed it, and I definitely think the tree could be fell whole if the stairs weren't there. Um, but I don't know if there's like stuff back there that it could damage. This just having like I would probably set up two different tree jacks on it, and the center being out of that thing is just the worst thing. That's like, you know, it's just taking the part that you would have all the work done, like all the spot you want to be connected to and pulling from, and but yeah, and I am 100% sure that that video just made it look 10 times easier than it actually is, and it looked hard as hell. And I'm sure it's way harder than that. Video never does those things justice, man. I just can't and won't do it with my two-guy operation. Be smart, man. You know what you can do. You've done it long enough. You know what you can do. But guys, I had fun showing you the weird little trick. Wonder what other weird stuff I have in this pouch. No, I've never climbed on a figure eight. Never. Like I've never climbed on this. But look, you see the grooves made into it? There, 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 right there. It's got the same grooves down here. Little divots in it. I've never climbed on a figure eight, but I've rigged a lot of stuff off these. I used to use this to rig all the time, and I would just rig just up through there. I don't know if I have a piece of, yeah, I do have a piece of rope, but yeah, I would just rig limbs, and this would be like my pulley, tree jack, whatever, and I would just put it up over it, and I would anchor that. This would be going to the limb, and then I could actually hold that with my hand as the climber and lower it down, and this friction was plenty enough to let me like be able to control pretty good sized limbs with one hand. I also used to use it to like as a release, like below the cut. If you're having a long swing, you could hook something up and it'll work as like a slow release to let it swing slowly instead of so fast. All right, hey, my eyes are killing me right now. I guess I was gonna use that for like, I don't even know what I was gonna use that for. It's too small for speedline straps, but check this thing out. What is this? Why do I have this? Why do I got those too? That's, look at this thing. What is that? That I have? I feel like I just bought it because it looked crazy. And I'm like, I gotta have one of those. But that would be nice, like if that's what you used on the end of your saddle and you wanted to hook it on the saw on every time. Like, I don't know about that. That's weird. I don't know how long I've had that for a long time. And then the must-have tool, which is this, and that's what I break down my GB rope wrenches with. Well, aluminum wrench. But yeah, Greg's the man. Here's one that he sent me, and then he sent me. I have a couple. Like I have a man. He sent me like 4 of them all together. One of them was. Oh, this is the one. Look, he even etched my. He etched stillborn into it. He's the man. Yeah. Like you guys humble the hell out of me, and it's like. I don't know. It's cool. I don't know that I deserve it sometimes, but it is cool. Thank you for hanging out again. I hope I didn't bore you. Hope maybe I need to take that down before it ends up like falling through my case. Um, yeah. Yeah, I don't want it to fall through my case. It's got all my arrowheads and stuff in it. A couple old bottles of whiskey that I got from a customer. Yeah, check this out. I don't drink. I got a couple other ones inside too. But check this out. So first they came out and gave me this one time when I think did we open this one? Oh no. No, actually we didn't. Why does it seem low? But it is Bushmills? I'm not a whiskey guy. I don't know. It's Irish whiskey, it says. Probably pretty good whiskey. Anybody else? Whiskey? Whiskey person? So if you guys ever catch me and you get by my place, stop in and have a shot because I don't drink. So somebody needs to. And then they gave me this one time too, which was check it out. I don't know what all this stuff on it. It says something about like it's a special run for Queen, one of the queens or I don't even know. What's it say? Rare blended Scotch whiskey, 100% Scotch whiskeys. By appointment to their late majesties, King George the Third, King George the Fourth, William, Victoria, Edward, George, all of them had king in front of it too, but and to his late Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, 1921 to 1936. Product of Scotland. I don't know whiskey, but I just feel like this has got to be good whiskey. So we need to meet up and you guys can drink these because somebody needs to drink them because they're just sitting in a storage case for me. But yeah. Maybe one day I just start drinking them and get smashed here. Completely hammered on live. Bad experience when I was 14. No way I could let that happen. If you crack that bottle open and I smell it, I'm gonna vomit. Yeah, dude. When I was, okay, here's one for you. When I was like, I think I was 12. I went to go spend the night at my uncle's. And I have a cousin who's like a little bit younger than me, like a year or two, maybe 2 years younger than me. And then my brother's almost 4 years younger than me, 3.5 years. So my uncle pulls out a bottle of wild turkey. It was a half a pint, I think. I know, was it? Yeah, it was a half pint of wild turkey. It was almost full. So I was just a dumb kid, and like you always want to impress your uncle. You know, you want him to think you're tough and cool and stuff. So he's like, drink this. And it had been in the refrigerator, so it was like real cold. And I'm a kid and I'm like thirsty. I had tried whiskey before. That sounds so crazy to say. I was 12 years old. I've tried whiskey before, but like I said, I'm a poor kid who grew up in the country. We do things different. Okay, you know, my parents are the type to be like, why do you keep looking at my alcohol? Here, try a drink. And as soon as you try a sip of it, you're like disgusted and want to get sick. So that usually ran me off. But so I take it, I hammer that bottle, and I almost like I took a fat drink. I think probably about half the bottle, and I like put it down. And he at first he was like, "Whoa," because of how big of a drink I took. But then he starts laughing. He's like, "You're gonna get sick, ain't you? That hurt, didn't it?" And me being the dumb kid that I am, I said, "No, I'm fine." Like I made a face and everything, and it didn't taste good. I grabbed the bottle again and I just finished it. And he goes, "You want to drink more?" My uncle's crazy, so he sends my aunt to go get a bottle of wild turkey. Or no, that was wild turkey. That's where Jim Beam comes in, and she comes back, and I take a drink or two off that bottle, and before I know it, like I don't remember anything. I remember him telling me he'd give me $500 if I ate this big bag of animal crackers without taking a drink, and like I thought I could do it. And I just remember getting sick and like my head swimming, like I couldn't stand up. He was laughing at me, and I just kept talking about Jimmy Dean sausage. I don't know why I was talking about like I was off my rocker, but the bad part was the next day was Mother's Day, and I was like I had alcohol poisoning at 12 years old on Mother's Day, and my mom was so pissed. But I have my own reasons why I don't drink. It just doesn't go with me. I'm too much Indian in me, and I just don't take alcohol good. It's just not my thing. So, guys, thanks for hanging out. Um, I appreciate it. Okay. Hopefully, 2023 is an even better year for us. I hope everybody has a safe year, but at the same time, stay active. Get out and do stuff. Try something you haven't tried before. Don't get stuck in your ways. Don't spend so much time on your phone. You know, watching YouTube and stuff's cool, but I'm guilty of it myself. Need to do a little more outside. And I'll be so stuck on this thing. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate you. And I will catch you soon, okay? Like I said, the video will be out tomorrow. Remember what I said about those bend points and how you can get a tree to pass through. Guys, thank you so much. August, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe. Have a good one.